Hey y'all, welcome to the Good Home Girl. I'm your Good Home Girl Tay, and on this podcast, we talk about motherhood, current events, real life, healing, and whatever else is on my mind while making sure you feel seen and heard. Today, we're diving into a topic that might feel a little controversial, but I have to be honest. As a millennial, I envy Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Now, before y'all roll y'all eyes and hit the next podcast, hear me out. It's not about feeling bad about our generation or trying to tear others down. It's more about what we can learn from younger generations and how the world has shifted in ways that make me, as a millennial, feel like we missed out on some key advantages. So let's get into it. As millennials, we're in this weird, middle ground where we grew up without social media, but by the time we hit adulthood, we were fully immersed in it. I mean, we're the generation that had to figure out how to use a flip phone and then suddenly got hit with Instagram, TikTok, and let's not forget Facebook mom groups. But Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're growing up in a completely different environment. They've had access to all of this from birth, and it shows. They're digital natives. And I'm a little jealous, I can't lie. They don't know what it's like to not have a smartphone or the internet at their fingertips. Their ability to create, consume, and innovate at an early age blows my mind. And I think about how, as millennials, we're constantly navigating the balance of digital exposure and the real world, something I think that we didn't always handle well. But Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're already ahead of the curve. I'm about to make y'all feel old real quick. So, my oldest sons think they had, it was like they had for Spirit Week, they had to dress up like an era, right? Now, I'm the mom that I love when the throwback styles come back. So the Von Dutch, the Ed Hardy, that stuff. And so I bought Stinky a Von Dutch outfit just to kind of put bro on game, right? Y'all, why he wear this outfit for the... He dressed up in Y2K fashion. So he wore the outfit. It was some Von Dutch sweatpants, a Von Dutch t-shirt. He had a do-rag on and some Air Forces. And then he took his dad's chirp to school, y'all. And then what had me laughing was he took the picture, okay? And he had the chirp to his ear because it's a flip phone. And I was like, bro, we didn't even use the phones like that. But it just cracked me up. And then we was sitting there one day and we were talking about how stuff was when I was in middle school. And this man called all the stuff that I loved vintage. And I was like, oh, bro, I'm only 35. I'm not that old yet. But I think it's payback because when I was a kid, when I would get mad at my dad, I would call him old. Another thing that has me envious is mental health awareness. So we millennials were definitely the generation that started opening up about mental health struggles. And I feel like we get so much pushback from the older generations because we were and are brave enough to break the silence around things like anxiety, depression, and burnout. And the truth is, we're kind of the pioneers. But we are ourselves still navigating how to make these conversations normal in our own lives while facing a stigma around therapy and mental health care. Now, the younger generation, baby, they have taken this to a whole new level. They're leading the charge with discussions around mental health, therapy, self-care, and boundaries. And what I personally love the most, I feel like they get judged for the most though, is that they're not afraid to speak up. They're not afraid to speak up when they need help. They're not afraid to talk about their emotions openly. And they have made therapy a lot less taboo. And I'm jealous of the fact that they have a whole generation of tools, apps, and resources at their fingertips. And don't get me started on Gen Alpha, okay? They're growing up in an era where mental health education is integrated into schools and self-care is actively taught. And there's a part of me that low-key envies that because I feel like we were taught to just push through everything and we didn't always have the resources that they do today. I remember when I was a teenager and I would try to tell my mom I'm not okay. Or one of the things that I'm still working through that I have a gripe with the women specifically in my family is that anytime I came to them with an issue, the whole family knew about it. The whole family. So if I, was trying to navigate maybe a relationship and I went and talked to my auntie about it, by the time we got into a family function, her friends knew about it too. And that was very embarrassing. And I realize now that there was a lot of shame that I dealt with because of that, and I didn't have the words for it. Or, what I do appreciate myself, and this is me giving myself and my friend group a pat on the back, is that we will put our kids in therapy fast. We talk to our children. I'm very big on telling my kids, like, it's okay to not be okay. I'm very big on telling even my little ones, like, to be able to name their feelings. I'm mad because XYZ. Mommy, when you did this, you hurt my feelings. Daddy, I didn't like when you talked to me like that. And it's funny because watching the elders in our families react to them speaking up for themselves. Because to them, it's seen as disrespect. To us, we realize, like, half of y'all was telling us to be quiet, or what goes on in my house stays in my house, because y'all knew that y'all was living foul. There's a lot of us, myself included, that had been molested at a young age because we were told and conditioned not to say shit. Or you was told every time that you spoke up about something, you was being a snitch. Oh, snitches get stitches. Stop tattletelling. Like, I'm very proud of us because literally us speaking up for ourselves is betraying an entire generation. And that's a really, like, heavy cross to bear. But I'm very proud of my children. I'm very proud of my nieces and nephews. I'm proud of just, if you get on TikTok, I love seeing them younger ones that speak up and be like, yeah, so not doing that. Don't give a fuck how you feel about it. What you gonna do with me? Okay. And I'm still gonna say what I have to say. I love that. I be the one like, yes, baby. Just speak on it. And, one thing that they really do have down is the way that they use social media for good. So while we were figuring out how to curate our lives for likes and followers, Gen Z turned platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter into activist tools. They're not just using these platforms to share photos. They're out here changing the world, organizing movements, raising awareness for social justice issues, and doing it all with a level of authenticity that we might have taken for granted. The way that Gen Z uses TikTok to raise awareness on mental health, politics, and even climate change is absolutely amazing. And then there's Gen Alpha. They've grown up with social media from birth, and they're already creating new ways of connecting and raising their voices. We may have been the first to experience the impact of social media, but I'm definitely envious of how Gen Z and Gen Alpha are using it with intention and purpose. I feel like when apps like Instagram came around, we started off obviously being very genuine, and then it turned into a popularity contest. It turned into, how good can I look? How T is my body? How expensive is my outfit? And I love that these kids have brought it back to authenticity. They don't care about all of that. They don't give a damn. I like that, especially like Gen Z. They looked at how that was taking a toll on them, how it was taking a toll on even us, and they were like, oh yeah, no, we're not doing that. We don't care that much. You guys look ridiculous. Here's another one, okay? My first introduction into how much money could actually be made on social media was from Ryan. By the time Ryan was 8 years old, that little boy was worth $28 million. I can remember when a friend of mine, they have like the little signs of like, oh, this is my first day of school. My name is such and such. And when I grow up, I want to be yada, 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 right? And her son had posted that he wanted to be, or he had written on the thing that he wanted to be a YouTuber. And all of these old hens got in her comment section and was like, tell that baby be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, whatever, whatever. So I got in the comments and I was like, yes, auntie baby. I said, y'all let me know whatever y'all need, because I said half these people in the comments, they don't know what they're doing and they don't even understand that there's so much money to be made on social media. My goal is for my children to never have to work for another person unless they're trying to gain experience somewhere. Like, there's so much that can be, you just open yourself up to so much financial freedom. Like, and it's their way of expressing themselves. They don't always go in and making money, but I think that it's absolutely amazing that, they have used social media as a means to get a bag. Another thing that it's a little more serious, but let's talk about finances. So we got hit hard. We came into adulthood during the Great Recession. Like, I graduated in 2008. I graduated into a recession. So we had to deal with skyrocketing housing prices, student loans, and a job market that was less than forgiving. Gen Z, baby, listen, they don't give two damns about that job. If the job does not make them happy, they walk off. They be like, okay, that's cute. So I can't have the day off? Okay, well, I'm just not coming. I was trying to give y'all a courtesy, but I'm just not coming. I love that. I love that they're not afraid of shit. I love that they've single-handedly as a generation changed the workforce. I love that. They know how to hustle and make money on their own terms. Side gigs, entrepreneurship, social media. In fact, they're so good at it that they're setting up financial freedom from an earlier age than most millennials could ever dream of. And I love that. And then there's Gen Alpha. They're still kids. So like my generation, my baby's generation, right? But they already know how to invest. They know how to make money online. And they know how to build wealth from the get-go. Like they're already ahead of the game. And I think that is so like amazing. For me personally, I celebrate it. It's so fun to watch. So what do we like? What's the takeaway from all of this, right? I personally don't resent them for it. I'm not a jealous person. I get excited because that means that like they've already learned so much more than we did. There's a lot less struggle that they're going to have to go through than we did. And most of us, we're not like our parents' generation. So we're not trying to hold them back because, oh, well, I didn't get to do it this way, so you won't. They have a lot to teach us. And what I think is the advantage is that we still have the advantage that we know how to navigate the before and after. So we definitely have the ability to adapt and evolve and blend the best of both worlds. Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they do a great job of teaching us how to use digital tools for social change, normalizing mental health care, and how to unapologetically be themselves on social media. I feel like what we could do is we need to support them. I have a 17-year-old niece. Baby is one of my favorite people on this planet. She inspires me so much. There's y'all, like, I wish at 17 I had like the oomph that she has. She has a toxic father. And yes, me and my best friend would tell her like, baby, you don't have to put up with that. You don't have to deal with that. But I love that she's so unafraid to set boundaries. She's so unafraid to say, you're not going to keep doing that to me. So if we can't have a healthy relationship, we just won't have one. My oldest son is 12. His father has his whole entire life picked and choose when he wanted to deal with him. I want to say maybe about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, my baby one day just said, you know what? He doesn't act like my dad. So he's not my dad. He does not answer he literally stopped answering his calls, stopped answering his text messages. I finally allowed him to have an Instagram. And as soon as his Instagram popped up, he tried to call him on Instagram. He blocked him. And I'm not one of those, that's still your such and such. Because just like you guys could say, or the older generation would be like, that's still your father. Okay, well, I'm still his son. The goal is for our children to not have to have the experiences that we had, the negative experiences that we had. And I personally feel like it's my responsibility to make sure of that. Let's continue to use our experience and their lessons to help each other. Let's teach Gen Z and Gen Alpha what we learned the hard way, while also taking notes from them on how to build a better future for all of us. So since we've unpacked, I guess it's not even really envy, but it's a good envy, not a bad envy, right? Let's talk about how we can support and celebrate them. I know for myself, I definitely feel like I've missed the boat in some areas. But this is our chance to step into a different role. Let's be cheerleaders, guides, safety nets. We have the ability and the responsibility to help them grow into their best selves. And that is what I aim to do with them. One thing that I do is I celebrate their achievements, big and small. I feel like I wasn't celebrated at all. I felt like my parents dealt with me. My dad was a little more celebratory, but my mom just kind of dealt with me like, well, I mean, that's just kind of who you are. Like I said, I've said it in another episode where my mother would celebrate my sister for being mid. And I was over here trying, like, overachieving. And it was just kind of like, well, girl, I ain't surprised. It's not about being surprised. All I'm looking for is a good job, right? So we're doing, not us. They're doing things that we didn't even think was possible at their age. They have small businesses. They stand up for causes that they believe in unapologetically and unafraid. And those achievements deserve recognition. As their parents, mentors, and friends, we can cheer them on in both the big moments and the small wins. Even the seemingly small accomplishments, like asking for help with mental health, they deserve acknowledgement. These wins build their confidence and encourage them to keep going. Another thing that I pride myself on doing also as a family member and a hairstylist is creating safe spaces for them to be vulnerable. Mental health has become a focal point for them. but it's also something that they're learning to navigate in an environment that still doesn't always make it easy. So as a part of their village, we need to make sure that they know that it's okay to be vulnerable. We can listen without judgment, encourage them to seek therapy, and help them identify and navigate their emotions. Let them know that feeling things deeply is not a weakness. It's part of being human. Remember, guys, we didn't have the emotional support systems that they have now. So be the parent, friend, or mentor who provides them with a safe space to open up. Empower their independence and creativity. One of the things I really admire about them is their creativity and entrepreneurial spirit. They're already building brands, content, and businesses before they're even legal. And honestly, that is incredible. It's almost inhuman. So as their parents or mentors, it's on us to empower their independence. Support their passions, whether it's a creative outlet, starting a business, or finding new ways to challenge the system. Do not try to box them in. And I bring this up because I feel like a lot of our parents, I don't think that all of them meant harm, but I think that they parented us from fear. So when they would try to talk us out of our dreams, I really think it was one of those, well, what happens if they fail? And so one of the things that I do with my kids is I never do anything to put doubt in their heart. If they do try something and it doesn't work out, I always encourage them and let them know, like, hey, at least you tried. And you didn't know what you didn't know. Now you know. Now you know how to move different. If you failed a test, okay, well, now you know what you didn't know. Now you know what you need to work on and study, right? Help them explore and grow, whether it's by funding their passions if you can, or simply offering encouragement and resources. Don't underestimate how impactful a small gesture of support can be for a young person. My niece does hair. When my best friend reached out to me and told me that my niece really wanted to take this seriously as a business, I went and made my baby a starter kit. Who better than her auntie that's been doing this before I was her age? So I made her a whole entire kit pretty much. And I put in there everything that I used. Not no little cheap stuff from the beauty supply store. No, everything that I used. And my baby has a lifetime mentorship with me. Whatever you need to know, let me know. There's so many of us out here that have talents, and we had to get it out the mud and figure it out, and we weren't supported. And I see so many people that I know that are now giving back. I see a lot of braiders that have like braid school and braid programs, and it's specifically tailored toward teenagers. My daughter likes to do nails. I'm big on that. Give them something, encourage them, because that's a way for them to also be able to make money in an economy that this economy is real tricky. We don't know what's going on. We don't know, our left from our right some days. If you can teach a child to work with their hands, you have no idea how you've set them up. Be an active part of their activism. Another area where we can show up for them is activism. These younger generations are leading the way when it comes to social justice, climate change, and advocacy for marginalized communities. They're not waiting for the older generations to catch up. They're out here making change, and we should be there to support them. Whether it's showing up for a protest, donating to causes they care about, or simply amplifying their voices on social media. It's essential that we become allies in their fight. I love this. I support when them kids do those walkouts at school. Child, who kid in trouble? Not mine. I'm going to be right there with them. We walking out together. We may not always agree with everything, but showing them that we care about their values and support their mission goes a long way. And this is something that I really wish that I had more of when I was a child. Even to this day, if my mother does not agree with my position or my mother does not understand, she doesn't seek to understand. She just criticizes it. And she can be very aggressive and damn near a bully if she doesn't agree. It's and if you don't agree with her, you've betrayed her. That's how she acts. And for me, that's just one thing that I just always vowed that I would never do. I will tell my children, hey, I don't really get it or I don't agree, but I support you. I respect your position. Let's model lifelong learning. One of the reasons why they're so ahead of the game is because they've been trained to adapt, constantly learning and growing. But here's the kicker, we can learn from them too. By being open to changing our own perspectives, adapting to new technology, and keeping up with evolving trends, we can show them that growth does not stop at any age. Let's continue to teach them that it's okay to fail, to try again, and to keep improving at every stage of life. At the end of the day, celebrating Gen Z and Gen Alpha means showing up for them, cheering them on, and helping them navigate the complexities of the world. It means listening, empowering them to be independent, and supporting their dreams. And most importantly, it means giving them the space to lead, because trust me, they're already doing it. We might envy their tools, their skills, and their ability to shift the culture, but we can also learn from them and support them in ways that help them flourish. And when they do, we all win. So that's all I have for today's episode. I appreciate you all for listening. And remember, whether you're a parent, a mentor, or just a part of their circle, your support matters. Don't forget to tune into the next episode. And if you have a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha in your life, tag them in the comments and share how you've celebrated them today. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye.